Now, moving on to one of the days that is meant to be the busiest in the year, transfer deadline day. Unfortunately, West Ham were unable to do any business despite tracking a number of players throughout the cross of the window. Matt, do you think there are any players West Ham should have looked to sort of prioritise and bringing in, or maybe some positions that needed strengthening?
I think you've got a well-balanced squad at the minute, if I'm honest. The Darren Fletcher one surprised me because I don't think they need another holding midfielder. We've already got Mark Noble there, and Song's gone off the ball a little bit lately, but he's still a class act. Centre halves are well covered. I know Reid, his contract's up at the end of the season, so maybe bringing in another centre half could have been an idea. But apart from that, the squad looks strong and it looks balanced. So I didn't think there was a necessity to bring anyone in. Adebayor was talked about. You know what you're going to get with Adebayor. He'll probably turn it on for a few months and then he'll go missing. So I think that, you know, that was probably a good thing for West Ham that that he didn't sign. You got Sacco, you got Andy Carroll, Valencia. Plenty of options there, so I don't think it was a necessity to spend any money really in January. I know all fans want new players in, fresh faces to freshen things up and to look forward to, but it doesn't always have to happen, and I'm sure the manager and the chairman are more than happy with the squad they got.
Well, William, someone who's been key to our success so far this season is Alex Song. Lots of fans are hopeful that he'll sign a permanent deal, potentially. But Wally Downs on the sofa last week thinks that this is just a sort of a stepping stone to get Song back in the limelight, and he doesn't really have his heart set on a West Ham move. What do you think is the future?
I think there could be truth on both sides there. I mean, ultimately, you look at Winston Reid. I mean, I hear he's off to Tottenham on big money. But going back to the transfer window, I mean, I think there's an opportunity if you're 5th, 6th in the table to really press home the advantage. I agree the squad's very strong, but it would be a chance to maybe make 1 or 2 marquee signings and really make a big, bold statement, because that could give you that extra momentum to push on for Champions League. And, you know, we're falling away a little bit now. Now, I know top 10's a great achievement for us this year, but, you know, I'd like to see real ambition. We're going to have one of the best stadiums in the Premier League. You know, we're one of the biggest clubs in the Premier League now, so, you know, a little bit of, you know, if you like, investment now could really press home the advantage.
Well, we can look back at the 8 players we were linked with on deadline day. Hopefully, as you can see here, there's a few big names on there. Adebayor, Gomez, 2 strikers we were considering. Do any of those names sort of take your fancy?
No, that's exactly. They're not exactly marquee names, are they? I know what William's saying as regards to getting that big marquee signing in. It would be a boost for the football club, and if we've got aspirations of getting into the top 6 and getting into Europe, etc. But I don't think there's that many players out there. And January, as everyone says, is a notoriously very difficult month to navigate in the transfer window. So maybe West Ham are better off waiting to the summer.
Well, someone that's always talk about with a sensationalist move back to West Ham is Carlos Tevez. You've obviously played with the man a little bit. Do you see him ever returning to Upton Park?
He always speaks about his love for the club, and it seems genuine as well. So, you know, he was a hero to the fans when he was at West Ham. So, I think there could be a chance. Yeah, you never know, and that would be some occasion if he did come back, definitely.
William, are we just dreaming hopelessly there? Or?
I'm sure he'd prefer to live in London than Manchester. And I think he was homesick at one point, wasn't it? But I think his wife might now be convinced London's a nice place. I don't know. I mean, listen, he's a great player, but ultimately, you get best value when you've got young, hungry players rather than necessarily people looking for a final payday. And, you know, there's a lot of people we've signed. I mean, I'm thinking of when we re-signed McAvenny back many years ago, and we even got Paulo Futre, if you remember, who was probably one of the best players in the world but was unfit. So if you could get 10, 15, 20 games a year out of him, then 100%, and it would be fantastic for the club. But realistically, I think you'd probably be paying well over the odds for someone who might be well past it.
Well, to stay on transfers, Matt, can you explain what it's like from a player's point of view when you find out of an interest and how the whole process works?
Yeah, first and foremost, your agent will give you a call and tell you there's a club's interested. If the club are willing to let you go, then you go up and speak to the club. It's a nervy time, especially if you think there is a chance of you leaving. It can unsettle you a little bit. I don't believe the January transfer window especially is any good, really. It just disturbs players, it disturbs managers from focusing on what's really important, and that's getting results. So it's a bit of a nonsense for me personally.